Hello and welcome to Perception Media. I am your hostess, the Cinegeek, and today I'm going to be talking about the 9th episode of Hulu's Castle Rock titled Henry Deaver. And major spoilers, I'm just going to dive right into spoilers, so this is your only warning. So we get the reveal of who the kid, not Pennywise, is. He is, in fact, Henry Matthew Deaver. Yes, that's right. But not the same these two aren't the same dude. In episode 6, Henry, the one we've been following, has a conversation with his son Wendell, and he says that his parents, Ruth and Reverend Matthew, adopted him when he was 5, and that Ruth had had a stillborn prior to that. So this Henry, I'm going to call him Henry Wise. So Henry Wise is their child had he lived. And we see Castle Rock in a different dimension? Or an alternate reality? I'm going to say different dimension because I feel like that's the term that they've been using. So this is kind of like what the schisma is. It's other pasts, other nows. And so this is an other now. And we follow him through Bill Skarsgård, Henry Wise, through his life, and his mother has Alzheimer's still, so Ruth still has Alzheimer's, but she's living happily with Pangborn, so I feel like that's kind of a refresher from episode 7, where, you know, she killed him, and I thought that was kind of sweet, and his father has just committed suicide, so the Reverend Matthew has just killed himself. And Reverend Matthew, is giving a narration that is very much similar to, and at some points verbatim, the same as the one Warden Lacey gave at the beginning and throughout the episode 2, which I thought was really cool. So it kind of shows that because Matthew died in the real Henry, or the adopted Henry's timeline, Warden Lacey got tapped to complete his task. And because in this timeline, Lacey lived, he's the one who fulfilled it. So in his basement, he built a cage. And when our Henry, was missing at age 11 in 1991 for those 11 days, this is where he was. He was in this alternate reality, locked in a cage in the basement of the Deaver's house. This is getting complicated. And so Henry Wise comes home because his father's committed suicide, and he finds the other Henry, who's still a child, locked in the basement. So this creates some kind of interesting thing. So it seems like they each traded into each other's realities. And so I guess when you're in a reality that's not your own, you don't age. But that does kind of create some kind of problem still, because so the child Henry was locked in that cage for 27 years, or specifically, 1,437 weeks, which is about 27 years. So when, so I think it's implying that this dude and this dude are supposed to be the same age about, so I don't know specifically when he was born or how long it took Ruth and Matthew to adopt a child after losing their own. So he's anywhere from 34 to 39. IRL, Bill Skarsgård is only like 2 years older than me, and I hope I don't look like I'm 37. Really hope. Maybe today. But I don't know, I feel like that's a bit of a stretch. But I'm willing, and I don't know, it was bothering me. And they keep calling him a kid, and he's referred to as the kid. I wouldn't refer to a 34-year-old as a kid, but maybe that's because I'm still in my 20s. I don't know. Yeah, so that's a little bit of a plot hole for me. And it doesn't really explain, because he's just a normal guy. He's a doctor, and he's doing experiments to help people with Alzheimer's because that's something his mother suffers from. And he's just a normal dude. So it doesn't really, so I guess when you're in a different dimension, you have powers? Or being locked up for 27 years gives you powers? That's not really in any way, shape, or form explained. It's not explained why some people hear the schisma. It's not really explained what the schisma is. Still, there's no explanation as to, like, why Molly has powers still. So I guess she's just kind of like The Shining. She just kind of has abilities, and that's fine with me. There doesn't need to be anything extra with that. But it doesn't explain why Ruth is able to shift in and out of realities. Is it because she was in Castle Rock, or and she has Alzheimer's, so it's magnified, or is it because she also has a power or a gift, and that's why Henry Wise also has powers? But then that doesn't explain why our Henry has powers, and why Wendell hears the schisma as well. So a lot of things, there's only one episode left, and there are a lot of, like, questions I still have. And there are kind of some, I mean, I'm really, like, Bill Skarsgård being supposed to be, like, 34 to 39, I don't know, it's just bothering me. I mean, I know he's 28, or 27 when this is filmed, probably, but the kid's got such a baby face, it just doesn't work for me. He's such a good actor, though, and yeah. This poor dude left, like, his pregnant girlfriend or wife, possibly pregnant girlfriend or wife. Like, I think that him saying, like, do you hear it now? We need to go to the woods. I think that's him just wanting to get back to his life, after being gone for 27 years. So, going back, so our Henry gets back into the woods, and he goes there with Molly and, Henry Wise. And, Zalaski's back. I can't pronounce his name. That's how it's spelled, though. He's back, and he accidentally shoots and kills Molly. So now we know how she died and why he knows about it. And Henry start going, kind of fading into, I guess, the schisma, and they're going into different realities. And they see something that the Reverend had been talking about, something that happened 200 years ago, where this little French girl, to survive, had to eat her already dead family, and you see the little French girl standing there with a knife. So I guess the schisma was caused by a Wendigo? I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, like, there's no more explanation as to what Odin branch was, or where Willie is, and does he hear the schisma now? Like, there's nothing. Again, there's only one episode left, and I still have, this is just more and more questions that, like, if you give me an answer, and then that answer creates, like, 6 more questions, and you only have one episode left, I'm gonna be real mad if this doesn't, like, bring everything together. Like, really, really mad. Yeah. So anyway, so we're back at Castle Lake, and we're seeing kind of the first shot from the first episode where Pangborn hears a noise. So that's the only time he's heard the schisma once, and that was the one and only time he heard it. And then he sees Henry on Castle Lake, and he runs to him, and he brings him home. And now what we're seeing this from Henry Wise's perspective, where he's standing on the bluff and seeing out onto the lake where they've been found, and that's probably a few days later when Warden Lacey captured him. It's fine. Which is unfortunate. Man, now I just feel more and more bad for him, because he's just, like, some dude, and it's kind of heartbreaking. Like, he just wanted to live his life, and he saved a kid and got screwed for it. No good deed goes unpunished, I guess, is the moral of this story. For me. I don't know. It's kind of sad. Anyway, so then we come all the way full circle back to where we ended with the last episode, where Henry Wise is talking to Molly, and he says, you know me, I was out there, and she kind of remembers now his reality, and her life and his reality, and up to, like, her dying, and then it ends with him saying, do you believe me now? And so I think the next episode is going to pick up where that left off. Honestly, at this point, because they keep shifting to different points of view in the story, I don't even remember what Henry's doing right now. Oh, he's off to find Ruth. We don't know where she is. We don't know why she's important. Like, I just got so many questions. But this has been my personal favorite episode. I know most people's favorite episode was episode 7, that kind of centered on Ruth. Sissy Spacek's performance was amazing, and the kind of surrealist aspects really blended itself well. I applaud the set design. It was and the editing in that episode was phenomenal. But I think this episode, just because I'm interested in the kid, in Bill Skarsgård, in Henry Wise, that's who I want to know about. And now I got to know about him, and so that, to me, this is what this story has all been kind of going towards. And I hope that the next episode just kind of ends with him getting back home, and then the next season kind of goes maybe into, like, the repercussions of having the schisma do that, or maybe it goes like, maybe it's gonna be a period piece when it goes into, like, the story with the little French girl. I think that'd be interesting, because now I want to know, like, what does that have to do with anything? Cannibalism's bad. Wendigos are weird. Don't trust little French girls. Please ignore my last name. We need a Moon Knight movie. Thank you so much for watching. Au revoir.